All right, Flight Sim community, this is Beetle Beast. Here we are on the ground in Montgomery, and we're doing things a little bit different today. As you can tell, we're outside of the airplane. We're refueled, we're ready to go again out of the Montgomery airport. I wanted to test something else because it's been a little bit since I've done any of this stuff with, oh gosh, what's the name of this? The Sim Update number 4. I have not played with ATC at all, so we're going to try that out. We're going to see if it's improved at all in comparison to how the state of the sim was when it was first released, because obviously back then there was a ton of stuff that simply didn't work. So I've got the airplane, like I said, we're on the ground, we're fueled, we're ready to go. We'll go through the startup procedure, taxi out, we'll talk to ATC. I took a look at our flight plan. I'm going to put that up there on the window right now so that you guys can see it. There's only going to be one airport that we're going to fly over, and it's called Troy Municipal. It's a Class D airport. I wanted to look at it a little bit closer to more like what you look for a real-life flight. We're going to be going to a place called Blackwell Ozark Airport, which is on the southeastern side of the state of Alabama, very close to, oh gosh, Fort Rucker, I think. We'll have to look at that again on the map. But either way, it's very close to one of the military bases that's down there. There's a couple of different airports that are around there that are military related. It doesn't look like it's actually underneath any of those, and it's just kind of in its own little area. Lots of operations areas for helicopter training that's being done down there, etc. So anyway, that's what we're doing. That's going to be our plan. It might be a little chilly, so I'm going to try something here. I know that this thing has a, what do we call it? A heater. And it says that heating is a requirement. I don't think actually you have to turn it on. I mean, in real life, you definitely would. But it's a little heat blower system here. Propane uses a heater, battery to power it up. We had one for our Skyhawk as well. Use it during the wintertime. You shouldn't really need to use these things, not at 40 degrees. But hey, you know what? We're going to give that a try. We're going to see if it does anything. And all it does is pump hot air up into the exhaust to help warm up the cylinders, because remember, these are air-cooled engines. They will cool off, and when they do, they sometimes have a hard time getting fuel to atomize in there and actually lighting off. So we'll go ahead, disconnect that, and let's get inside the airplane and get this thing going. All right, hopefully there's not too much time in which this fuel, hopefully it hasn't been too long, and we'll be able to get this thing started up without the airplane cooling off too much. But we'll go ahead. Batteries are going to come on. I'll leave the alternator off for now. Turn on our beacon. You hear the gyros all spooling up. Throttle's closed. My aux pump. Low. Look for a rise in the fuel. There we go. Back to off. A little increase. And no dice. Let's give that another try. No dice again. Ooh, we'll see if we get her started today. See if we can clear it out. Throttle's open. We'll probably get a backfire out of this. Death. I have a hard time believing that should have started like that. But she did start, and we just managed to wear out our battery excessively. Alternator's coming back on. Avionics Master's coming on. We don't need the pitot heat strobes. You can turn on the nav lights. Don't really need those. That's good. Trims look set. And let's go ahead and find out what information we need for our airports. We can get our information in here to go. I know for a fact that that's not right. I would like to see where we're at. Because I think that the field elevation here is right around 135 feet, something around there, 150 feet. Which will make it 3010, something around there. Make sure that I'm reading that. 15, that's actually closer. Alright, we'll hit enter, enter, approve it, acknowledge it. And here is our information for Montgomery again. Let's see. We might actually still have the 8 sub. 120.68. It is not, so we'll go back here. 675. There we go.
Montgomery Airport information, Mike. 1800 Zulu. Wind tree 44 at 7. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 22. Dew point 11. Altimeter tree 022. LS Yankee
A little bit off.
28 in use. Landing and departing runway 28.
There we go.
VFR aircraft say direction of flight.
Landing on 28. Winds are out of the northwest.
Advise controller on initial contact you have, Mike.
Alright, so let's go back here and take a look at the ground frequency, 121.7.
Wind tree 44 at 7. Visibility 10.
Swap it over, and let's see if we can give these guys a call. Already are.
Ground, Beechcraft, November 6, Tango, Quebec. Request taxi for departure to the east with November. Beechcraft, November 6, Tango, Quebec. Taxi 2 and hold short runway 28 using taxiway Alpha Cross runway 21 Alpha. Contact tower on 119.7 when ready. Taxi 2 and hold short runway 28 via taxiway Alpha Cross runway 21 Alpha. Beechcraft 6 Tango, Quebec.
Alright, going to 28 down that way. Use Alpha, cross 21 on Alpha. That sounds pretty good. And unlike the last time I think I probably tried to use it, or maybe one of the first times I tried to use it, they had us use the phrase runway 21. I'm like, come on, no one says that. Where are you guys at? Alright. We'll have a left turn here on Alpha, get the taxi light on. Hopefully one of these days they will fix all of these lights. That would be a nice little update, but I'm sure that would require actually quite a bit of work. So I'll kind of give them a pass on the fact that it's not done yet, but God, they're ugly. The pace of a brisk walk is what they always say your taxi speed should be. I'm sure this is a very brisk walk. No, it's a brisk walk like Jesse Owens runs. Very brisk. It looks like Spirit has gotten out of here along with Allegiant since the last time we came in. United is now around. And let's look at Embraer 175, which I'd assume then is a United Express airplane. Kind of like that Republic airplane that was over here earlier. I do love the fact that they actually, for the first time in ever, have some liveries that show up. You know, that's pretty awesome stuff. Oh, go straight. I was looking down for lights. See if I got light up before we cross this runway. All right. Get the light back off. So we'll see. Maybe ATC is going to start acting a little bit better than they used to back in the day. I'm sure they were going to have me climb out, and then they'll just say, you're clear to not talk to me again. But maybe they'll transfer us over to En route center, and we can talk to them instead. Got this thing planned. We're going to climb up to 5,500 feet and fly. Like I said, it's like 60 miles. It's a pretty quick flight in general, so that shouldn't be too much of a factor for getting over there, and there shouldn't be a whole lot that we have to deal with on the way. Weather's beautiful everywhere, like it's been almost consistently. There's ILS hold short area right there. There's the runway hold short right up here. I'm going to set the brake real quick and then bring the engine power up ever so slightly, see what we get, make sure our mags are working properly. That way we don't take off and have something that fouls and goes crazy, so... Seems good. Increase in power. Headings match, airspeed 0. Attitude looks good. Altimeter set. Alright, let's swap over to tower. 19.7. Let's scroll it in for the sake of argument, right? Tower. And that should be that.
Tower, Beechcraft, November 6 Tango, Quebec, at runway 28 ready for departure. Departure to the east.
Beechcraft, November 6 Tango, Quebec. Altimeter tree 022 east, departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 28.
All right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 28. Beechcraft 6 Tango, Quebec.
And with that, we're clear to go. So we're going to take off here to the west, turn back around towards the east. Runway 28 is confirmed. Cow flaps are open. A little bit of right crosswind, it looks like. Get ourselves lined up. Bring the power on in. Here we go. We'll say, I think this airplane, weather vanes maybe a little bit less than some of the Cessna products I've flown before. Alright, got gear up, transition light is out. Let's know how much of a pain any type of crosswind can be in the Cessnas in the sim.
Tango, Quebec. Continue for east departure.
I'm going to actually have to click the button. That's annoying. I'll move that down there. Whoa, 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 whoa. You come down here. You stay.
Continue for east departure.
Yeah, they're always very odd when they say words like continue. I will say that that still is something that isn't quite normal for ATC. I'm going to go ahead and make that left crosswind. And then we'll start working our way around to a downwind and then heading off towards the east. Rolling towards the downwind now. That works out well. Let's go ahead and hit our direct to... Oh no, we didn't put it in. 71 Juliet is the number. Enter Blackwell. That's where we're going. 60 miles away. Bearing is going to be 146. Let's set it up.
Beechcraft 6 Tango Quebec. Leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Alright, we get our frequency change. We'll tune in the center here in a minute to see how that all is working. Now we got approach perfect. VFR fly following, please.
Montgomery approach. Beechcraft November 6 Tango Quebec is type Beechcraft Bonanza, 2 miles southeast of Montgomery, 2700. Request flight following. Beechcraft November 6 Tango Quebec, Montgomery approach. Squad Tree 146. Squad Tree 146. Beechcraft 6 Tango Quebec.
See if they say radar contact. They did not say radar contact. It's like he can't see me. So, real life scenario here. When ATC tells you to squawk something, the reason they're telling you to squawk it is so they can see you on their radar scope and give you a identifiable code that pops up. So instead of them just seeing the 1200 in our transponder, knowing that that means that you're a VFR aircraft, which obviously we have to maintain VFR from all of these clouds, but knowing that you're a VFR airplane that's taking off and flying around, IFR airplanes always have a designated squawk code, so they have an identifier that they can tell, see, visualize at all times. Now, when you are VFR, like I said, you just any number of targets and you squawk 1200. But in this case here, they gave us a squawk code, so now we would appear on their scope as a designated target that they know who they are, where they're going, and what they're doing. Other ones that aren't verified, such as just random 1200 codes, are known as a VFR target. ATC can call them out to other pilots that are flying in the area that they are talking to, but there is no requirement here in the United States for your VFR aircraft to be talking to anyone. You can go fly around and do whatever you want to. Freedom, baby. That's how we roll. So that's kind of the gist of what they did. Now, when they give you a squawk code like this, that's not the end of the transmission. It's Beechcraft, whatever we are, whatever our code is actually up here, 6 Tango Quebec, squawk 3146. We would say squawking 3146, and then they come back and say 6 Tango Quebec, we have you on radar, verifying altitude, climbing through 4,800 at this time, and that we are 4 miles to the east of the Montgomery airport. And then we would come back and say the position and altitude are correct. At which point in time, they know that they know where you are, they've confirmed they know where you are, and you can continue on your way, knowing that they have accurate information. If the transponders aren't working right, if they see you at the wrong altitude, if they see you in the wrong location, their services are basically useless to you, and you are basically useless to them. In fact, you're probably even worse than that, because now they're going to be telling everybody that you're something that you're not. So anyway, that's what that's all about, and like I said, they clearly don't have that. So when this game first came out, one of the things that I kind of complained about and said, it almost appeared as if they didn't talk to, and I was going to climb it to 55. I'm going to go ahead and keep on climbing. I think we'll go to 75, see if that gets us above any of the clouds out here. It was almost as if Microsoft and Azovo, no offense to you guys, didn't consult a single air traffic controller when you made the game. That was true even in 2020 when you made it. The first thing that I was hoping for when I got in 2024 was that when I loaded in, I was going to have an air traffic control presence that sounded somewhat, I don't want to say intelligible, believable though. You know, believable would have been something I was hoping for, something I was, I don't say expecting, but was really just kind of hoping to get. And, you know, you hopped in the game the first time, and I was like, oh, wow, this stuff's broken. Actually, that was back during the initial beta release when they were simply testing servers. And once again, I kind of got dismissed when I said, I think there's a problem with this thing. They made it sound as bad as 2020. And people said, oh, it's just the test servers. Trust me, this isn't the final product. It's going to be fine. The final product came out, and it was exactly that. Along with some of the bugs that they had for ground positioning and reporting, and some of those bugs that still haven't been fixed regarding the career mode stuff. Some of that stuff, I'll be honest, I've had a great time in career mode, but it needs more expansion. It needs the ability to utilize third-party aircraft, such as this one, would be a fantastic airplane to be able to use this out of the career mode. But there's no reason to not have that those items populated so that you can actually utilize them inside of the game. Because airplanes, even like this one, I mean, this Bonanza would work perfectly fine, especially without back seats in it, as a cargo bird. Granted, you're not going to see these as cargo aircraft very often. It's not the niche that it's really designed for, but it would work as well as a Skyhawk. The 185 really could have had that, especially for the Alaska stuff. Put the ability to have some skis on it and then be doing some bush missions where you're flying into backcountry areas, bringing in skiers and hikers and hunters, etc., and bringing out their gear, bringing out the whatever weight they have, whatever they've killed on their game hunts, etc. All of that could be incorporated into this game, and it would really give you a much more immersive, much more alive feel. I mean, what's amazing about this game is that they have designed and captured essentially the entire world. It's insane when you think about just that. The marine traffic that they captured, granted they're using it by transponders, but it was cool on them for realizing, hey, we've got all this transponder data. We could incorporate that into the game and utilize it, and we could populate real-time marine traffic that's out there. I mean, that's cool as hell. The fact that they actually took the time to do that. This changing of the seasons that happens apparently in northern parts of the country, not so much down here, is awesome. The fact they finally corrected the sun, look at it, yeah. It doesn't hurt you to look at it in the game. It's actually the right size. In the old version of the game, it was gigantic. Way bigger than any sun should have ever been. The moon, same thing. Way bigger than this moon should have ever been. Only in VR, and it had to do with the draw distance of it. They fixed it for this version of the game. So now it looks proper on a screen, and it looks proper in VR. They finally fixed, and this is a very recent one, the atmosphere got redone. I think that has to do with the SU4 build, but they actually made the atmosphere at night look proper. Not only that, they redid the ground lighting to be far more natural in its appearance, and it looks really good too. I haven't done a night flight for a video because for the most part we were flying VFR and the hope was to see things, and you can't do that when you're flying around at night. But I will say without any hesitation that they made some vast improvements to the night rendering for the ground, the cities, and the towns. It looks really, really good now. So all those things said, they've made a really good game, and they have a way to go to make a great one. They've captured so much, and I feel bad sometimes, like, then you guys sometimes just sell yourself short. You've got all this great stuff, and then you don't take it that extra couple feet. One more thing while I'm not thinking of it. When, of course, this guy told us to squawk a code, the other thing he didn't ask for was where we're going, which, this is a video game, so therefore they're omnipotent. Omniscient. They know everything. They should know where we're going immediately. But in real life, they don't. So maybe that's, part of the issue of the coding, in that ATC doesn't inquire about things that ATC already knows, and the game knows everything because you put the data in. But it's a VFR aircraft that took off out of a controlled airport. When ATC back at Montgomery says they're done with us, hey, you guys are leaving our airspace, frequency change approved, we can go back to monitoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to hear who's out there listening and talking and saying stuff. We monitor guard. We should have that up here on COM 2 at least. Oh, speaking of which, something else kind of humorous. If we take a look at it, so the radio stack always gets turned to the off position. So we were just communicating with that guy. We don't have the radio on. But 21.5 is the emergency frequency which you are supposed to monitor. So we'll go ahead and we'll click that little button there so that we can be listening to what's going on 21.5 just in case ATC needs to get a hold of us and can't because for whatever reason our COM1 radio fails. It's not going to, but it could, right? It could in real life. If it failed even in the sim, I highly doubt the ATC has been programmed to contact you on guard and then tell you to contact them on another frequency. That doesn't happen. Not in the way this ATC has been built in the game. That will not happen. I will guarantee it. So, all that said, how's it flying? Game's flying good. Plane's flying good. And, yeah, we should have some beautiful weather going over to this little airport. 71 Juliet, Ozark Blackwell Field in Alabama. And that's going to be our last stop in Alabama. After that, we're going to keep on rolling over. I think we might touch just a hair of Georgia before zipping on into Florida. But we might just end up flying over Georgia as we work our way into northwestern Florida, which will be the final state, a very long one, that we zip across here in the game. So that one there, to make Florida go by a little quicker, we might get an even faster version of this airplane and fly it for the last remaining legs, because guess what? Florida sucks. I'll be honest with you. It is one of the few states, and I don't hate Florida either. Gosh, I remember I was raging about Kansas a little bit ago, and how much I dislike flying across Kansas, and it's only equaled as Florida, which is only because it takes forever to get out of it. I can take off out of Orlando in the jet and be at 25,000 feet, 30,000 feet, and still in Florida by the time I've reached my altitude, and I'm cruising, and you look down and go, it's been 20 minutes, and I'm still just hanging out in Florida. Call me spoiled, but gosh, it's a long state. And it feels even worse the further south you go. If you're flying from Miami up, it's even more of a pain. So, all things said, airplane's running good. I haven't pulled the prop back. I guess I can bring that back a little bit. Wonder if it says how our wear and tear is. I bet we're probably still good, but let's take a look. 100%. Battery capacity is good. Yeah, I don't think it's saving it in the same way that it probably needs to. It's nice and cool in here. Yeah. Still a pretty slick little interface for controlling things. Flying pretty good for hands off right now too. Got a little bit of left turn in Tennessee. I've been trying to trim it out a little bit, and you can see it kind of creeping down there just to kind of keep us going straight without it turning off to the left like that. But yeah, 7,500 feet here. You should be looking at approximately, if we use the rule of 3 here for our multiplication out, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 21 to 23 miles is where we're going to have to start our descent down. We're at 30 miles from the airfield right now. I doubt, highly, highly doubt, that there is any information on 71 Juliet in here in terms of the airport. So let me take a look. That's the wrong airport. That's just page 6 of the airport. That's all Montgomery information. VORs that are close by, NDBs that are close by, intersections. Reference. No. Active. Here we go. There's Blackwell, Ozark. Elevation is going to be 350 feet. Runway is 1331. It did not look like the type of airport that was going to have a bunch of comms. They've got a couple RNAV approaches. Comm frequency database not available. I've seen it already, but I was looking on ForeFlight when I was checking my flight plan. Let's pull up the tab real quick. So I know for a fact it's not going to have any type of chart. I bet it doesn't even have any FAA charts in here. Let's see. Click the button. Oh my gosh, it does. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, nope, that's Montgomery. I don't want that one. I want the other airport, 71 Juliet. 71 Juliet Airport, yeah, no charts. That's what I expected. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that that I'm seeing that correctly. Takeoff men's page. There's the approaches, departures. Let's take a look at the approach. Let's look at 1.3 real quick. Do they have an ASOS here? They do. DHN has an ASOS, 135.72. So let's go ahead and put that in. Swap that over. And we're getting close to our 21 miles or so, so we'll start down here in a second. 35.
Airport information, Sierra. 1800 Zulu. Wind tree 24 at 12. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2 tree. Dew point 12. Altimeter tree 02 tree. ILS runway tree 2 in use. Landing and departing runway tree 2. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Sierra. Dothan Airport information, Tango. 1800.
Interesting that it's Sierra and not just
Visibility 10. Sky condition clear.
the ASOS.
Temperature 2 tree. Dew point 12.
Alright, so there's the approach controller, 25.4. We could try that. Let's see what happens. So you don't have the ability to tell ATC what it is you want to do anywhere near as well. No, 2285. I don't want them. I wanted the other one. I wanted 25.4. What the heck? Come on, airplane. I don't want to talk to these people. I want to talk to the other ones. I want Karen's approach, 25.4. And it's going to be like, hey, you can swap back to the other one. Soon Montgomery approach. You guys didn't give me an option to actually do anything, though, when I'm on that frequency with Montgomery approach. That's why I don't want to talk to them. All right, ATC. You guys have to fix it. Also, I will say, there are, and if you want to get into the ATC side of things, there's some really good programs out there that work with Flight Sim 2024 in which you can actually talk to live people. Now, granted, the coverage isn't great. You have to kind of be flying in their area, but if you actually want to practice your ATC skills, it's absolutely, I don't want to say it's critical, it's phenomenal. It's a great piece of architecture. I think it's not live ATC, gosh, and I haven't used it in a long time because it does have to sit in the background, but it works really, really well with real live individuals simulating air traffic control. They simulate your clearance delivery, ground control, etc. You can tell them for deviations, things that you need. It works. It's amazing. It really is. So if you're a new pilot, an aspiring pilot, I'll see if I can throw that up here. It's going to be on the screen. I also had to make a remembrance to a reminder here so that I actually look at that. But it's pretty phenomenal stuff. So we'll plan this here as just a visual approach into into Ozark Blackwell 3-1, as I said. 5,100 foot of field elevation. Touchdown zone will be 350 feet. And let's see here. From this side, 3,100 feet to be safe all the way around. From the other side, it's going to be down to 2,500 as long as we're within 15 nautical miles of the airfield. So that shouldn't be any big deal. Actually, that's Tomwukbu, which is this fixed way out here. Let's see here. A lot of towers kind of north of the airfield, a couple to the south as well. That shouldn't be much of a factor, though. I say all in all, it should be a pretty easy approach. Just gotta find this place. I know that the town was out there. It looked like the airport, I believe, was just to the north, and we'll be landing on runway 3-1, so that'll be, essentially, we should be almost lined up with 1-3, or pretty darn close to it. Let's see if we can pull it up here. I'll pull up the chart, or not the chart, the approach. Oh, they only have it as the VOR for 3-1. Could have sworn there's an RNAV GPS, yeah. It doesn't even, oh no, there it is. RNAV GPS 3-1. My brain just broke. I only saw the 2 and I was like, what the heck happened? Put that in. Message. Press out to set Barrow. I hit the button. 30-20. Oh, wrong one. I want this one. 22. Yeah, let's see if we can bring this back to nav. Why, hello, cat. I feel so loved. You're making me climb, though. We can't do that. We need to go down. We want to go to the airport. That's only 6 miles away. It should be that little area right in front of us. That looks about right. That looks about right. And we'll just plan to make left-hand traffic there again. And Montgomery, I'm just going to say it, I'd like to switch over to advisory. But Montgomery has nothing to tell me to do, so Montgomery goes away. And let's see if we can get ourselves set up to land here at this little airport. All right, kitty. You can hang out. If you ever want to feel loved, have a cat that wants to fly with you. You don't get to push the yoke. Alright, so here we are. There's our airport. Everything looks right. We should be able... Yeah, this will work out pretty well. I was hoping to see. Windsocks should be coming pretty much in this direction, so... This should work out pretty well. We'll just hit this downwind and then turn for a base and a final. So what we've discovered, of course, is that the ATC has not improved drastically. There's been some very minor changes, but nothing that I would consider to be a drastic improvement. Kitty, do you agree? Power's out. We're going to hear the gear horn. Gears coming down. We're under the speed. There's one of the towers. Got power lines there. Oh, what the heck did you just do, cat? No. I have no idea what you've done. You get off now. I can't even see. I don't know where I'm at. We're very slow in comparison to where I want it to be. We're back. Alright. Feeling better. Got a tower with the beacon hanging out in the woods. A little high. That should work out. I really don't like the trees that are down there. Like I said, I was a little slower than I wanted to be anyway. Wind. That's weird. For all I know, everything could be out of wax and trim here. Just as a result of the little freeze frame that had happened. Oh, that was hilarious and terrible. Thank you, Kitty. I appreciate your hard work. T-33 maybe over there? A little Bonanza variant for military training. And I guess it looks like there's some fuel pumps over there. That's where I'm going to go. Flaps are coming up. That was an interesting base to final. Thanks for sticking with me. Yeah, I have no idea what it was I was saying earlier that was kind of unrelated to that. I think it had to do with ATC kind of being wonky. But yeah, I think everything else is fine. Here we are. Welcome to the southeastern part of Alabama. And from here, we keep on trucking further to the east. So before I finish that up, and before we really get deep into Florida, I might, like I said, make a little change here and do some IFR type of video with this airplane, it seems like that could be a good use of the time. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying Flight Sim 2024. Put in the comments whatever you want. Put in the comments if you guys have a cat that likes to jump on you when you're playing video games, and we will talk to you next time. Thanks again for watching. Happy simming, and we'll see you soon.